Today I'm going to talk about why you need to move past your first job out of college and tell you the story about the time I asked my boss for a raise and he literally laughed at me. Like, I'm not even making this up. So, out of college, I got my degree in mechanical engineering. It was around 2010. Couldn't find a job in my field. So I ended up taking a job at JP Morgan Chase and worked as an underwriter. Then the industry slowed down. They cut a lot of jobs from my office. I was laid off. Got another job as an HVAC engineer. But here's the kicker: I was back with my parents, and my boss is only gonna pay me $10 an hour and train me. So I worked that for about 6 to 8 weeks, and then I got another offer. And I'll tell this story first before I tell the story of, when my boss literally laughed at me. I was gonna stay with this guy, but I had like a $55,000 a year offer on the table, which is kind of like the entry level salary for an engineer, anyways. Out of college. So I was working for this guy, getting $10 an hour. He's going to teach me HVAC, fire protection, and plumbing. And he's like, whatever. It was a 4-man business, very small business. And I was planning on, going through, getting my professional engineering license and maybe helping him out and potentially taking over the business, whatever. He was in his late 40s, I believe, at the time, maybe approaching 50. And probably looking to retire soon. Said he was doing really well with the business, whatever, made a lot of money because he really wanted it, and he wanted to mentor somebody and help him out with the business. Anyways, when I got that other offer, I told him, look, man, $10 an hour is not much. I will stay with you if you bump me up to $15 an hour. $15 an hour. I make more money driving on Uber and Lyft now at $15 an hour. But I made that offer to him. He's like, no, that wasn't part of the deal. He was bugging out over $15 an hour. So, been there about 6 to 8 weeks. Was willing to call back. Actually, I did call back and tell him, no, I don't want the job. I'm going to stay here. So he's like, okay. I told him the next day, I'm like, okay, I'll stay. He's like, no, I don't know if I want you anymore. You might leave again, blah, blah, blah. Call me at a certain time, and if I answer whatever, I'll let you stay or whatever. So I've already said no to this other job. Call him up, and he doesn't answer. I'm like, fuck this shit, man. This guy's an asshole, man. He doesn't even want to pay me an extra $5 an hour to stay. He wants me to stay for $10 an hour and work, a certain amount of time, and then he'll bump me up 15, and then 6 months later he may give me $20 an hour or something. That's what he said, which is still like what interns make. So I called the other company back up. They take me, go through the interview process with them. They say, oh, come on in, we'll get you all these certifications: API 653, tank inspection, API 510, pressure vessel, API 570, pipe inspection. We need these type of inspection certifications. I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. He said aviation fueling. I'm thinking I'm working on like jets or something, but it's the ground systems. It's everything to take the fuel from a big storage tank through piping, pumps, filters. So it actually has very little to do with the planes. It's just the system that gets the fuel stored from storage into a place where the planes can refuel or the trucks can take the fuel to the airfield. So it has nothing to do with planes at all. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, this sounds cool. Go work. 55, it wasn't even 55. I think it was like 53 or 54,000, something like that. I worked there for 5 years. Never get a raise. End up getting my professional engineering license, and finally was like, look, man, I've been here like 5 years. I haven't got a raise. He's like, oh, okay, I'll see what you do. So he boosted me up to like around 62,000 after about 4 months after I asked for a raise, and I was ready to leave at that time. And I'm still like, by this time, the entry level salary is 61,000 in that range. So when I graduated, the entry level salary was around 53, 54. So new grads can expect around 61,000 coming out. So basically, he just moved me up. What supply and demand moved up most people graduating in this field at. So I'm still making entry level. In fact, I actually interviewed for an entry level job. That wanted someone right out of college. They're going to pay 70,000. So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. You know, he gave me a raise. I'll prove that I'm valuable and I'll, try to negotiate another one. So I get on my own dime. I take, API 510 cert, API 653 cert. Past the 510, getting ready to take the API 653, and we just happen to have this contract to where we're subbing out for an API 510 inspector, paying, I don't know, $45,000 for someone to come in and do this work when I'm qualified to do it now. And yeah, I don't have the experience, but our API 653 inspector has the experience, but he doesn't have the license. So me and him could work together, and we're going to be at this facility anyways because I was assisting him to get the experience also in this particular field. So I'm assisting him. We're going to be at the site anyways. We might as well do these 510 inspections while we're there. It won't take up any additional time. It's pretty much pure profit to the company. Another $45,000 coming into the company. So I'm like, okay, like, this is good. Like, I have some leverage. I'm making the company more money. So I'll go to the boss and be like, I could do these inspections with the help of, the current inspector. It's another way we can make more money for the company. He's like, yeah, we could do that. Okay. I was like, all right. So, it's been about maybe 6 to 8 months since he gave me my first raise. So I'm trying to get to about 70,000, about a little bit above entry, because I've got my API 510. I'm about to get my API 653, and I have my professional engineering license, and I have 5 years experience working in this field, and I'm still making what an entry level graduate would make at this time, based on statistics. This was in Atlanta. So I go to my boss, and I'm like, look, I found a way we can make an extra $45,000. Could I have a raise, for doing this extra workload? And he's like, laughs. He literally laughs. Well, I just gave you a raise. I'm like, look, I'm doing this extra work. He's like, sorry, Andrew, it's not going to happen. So I go out the office. And at the time, I applied for another job to another company. And I wasn't going to leave. They actually offered me the job. They offered me like 70,000, but I didn't want to move out of Atlanta at that time. So I called them back. I told them, nah, that's not enough money. Like, so they actually called me back. And we're like, okay, how much will it take to get you to move? And I put an offer out, like I said, maybe like 90,000. They called me back. It's like, well, we can meet you kind of in the middle. 85,000 would be enough to get you to move. So I'm like, okay. After I had told him this, I accepted the job after he laughed in my face. And yeah, your company's not going to value you. They don't care if you can make them more money. They're going to see you as a low entry level. They're going to kind of try to pinhold you to a certain area to where they could underpay you and you could do as much work for them as possible. And this company was mismanaged. They were misrun. And like I said, I showed them a way to actually bring them in more money. And I just want a little extra. I want maybe like 20% of what the extra I was going to bring him in for that 1 year. And he said no. He laughed. He said whatever. So I took this other job. And when I called him to tell him like, hey, I'm putting my 2 weeks notice in. And he's like, what happened? You know, I thought you were happy here. I'm like, he wrote me this email. He's like, okay, whatever. And then he wrote me this email, like anxiety filled email, like why are you leaving? You know. Then he's like, oh, okay, you put some of these certs on the company's card, you gotta pay it back. You know, he got really bitter. You know, asked coworkers, the other inspectors, like, how much do we need Andrew? You know, how much is he valuable to us? You know, do we need him moving forward? Who signed off for certs? You know, then he kept emailing. He's like, can you get this done? Can you get this done? Can you get this done this day? You know, get this certain, you know, health and safety plan done. Get this done. You know, these little tasks I was supposed to do anyways. I was planning on doing them anyways. I wasn't just going to leave the work undone. But then he got really bitter and just almost threw a tantrum. Like, grown man, 60 something years old, 2 to 3 years away from retirement, didn't get his way, threw a tantrum, went to coworkers, and then when I left, I heard one of my other coworkers said, oh, he sent out company emails saying Andrew left, you know, made it seem like he fired me or whatever. I'm like, really, dude? Like, then he threw a fit, like, ooh, who signed off on his certifications, you know, he was supposed to get those, and oh man, the whole time you're trying to hold me back, then kept on, you know, saying who gave you permission to use a company card and whatever. And I was like, look, just take it out of my check, whatever. I don't even care. Like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. Like, it was just, I never expected, you know, the CEO and the president, 60 years old plus, to throw these type of fits at their age just because they didn't get what they wanted. And it's crazy. And now I'm at my company. I got a good work-life balance. It's a little boring, but I'm content for now. You know, they let me work from home. You know, it's not quite as small a company as I was working before. But the point is, these guys are not going to value you. They're going to try to underpay you. And when you get a little aggressive, they're going to throw fits. It's remarkable, you know, that HVAC employer didn't want to pay me an extra $5 an hour. And now this other employer, I've been at 5 years now, I'm a licensed professional PE, have these licenses that can actually bring the company money and put my name out there to get them more work from the government, saying, oh, we got so many licensed PEs or whatever, and I want an extra maybe $5,000-$10,000 because I'm bringing in so much more money for the company. And threw a fit, said no, you know, pressured me to get my work done. I'm like, I left early because I couldn't stand him. I really couldn't stand this guy. Like, I was on the verge of going to his office and being like, you're a fucking liar, you know, you told me come in, get all these licenses, I'm gonna do all this work. And it was just a mess. And the point is, you gotta change jobs to get that salary jump. And now I've got all types of API licenses, my professional engineering license. I could get interviews, but I'm not sure I'm gonna stay in this line of work forever. But for now, it's good. And my company I'm at currently is looking for an API 653 inspector. So if anyone out here is watching this is qualified, I'll put a link in the description to the job post, or anybody just let me know in the comments if they want that link, and I'll post it. But yeah, that was my experience asking for a raise.